Yes, Shatabi, thank you.
Uh,
We'll start.
shall we start, Shruti?
We'll start.
Yes, Gangotri, please start your live. Teachers are there.
All right. Hello, teachers and school leaders. A very good evening. Welcome to the webinars facilitated by Learning Design and Curriculum Experts. My name is Gangotri, Manager Digital Retention, and I'm joined by Shatabdi Mishra, also Manager Digital Retention. We are the hosts for today's webinar. Before we get started, a few housekeeping norms for the webinar. All the participants have been placed on mute, except the presenters. Cameras will remain closed. This would help us to, reducing in distractions. In case if you have any queries or concerns, please put them in the chat. We will answer them in the chat itself. If the query is related to the content covered in the webinar, our facilitators will answer them during or at the end of the webinar. We are trying to maintain a high level of network connectivity. If we face any glitch, we will keep you informed. If you face any disturbance in the audio or in the video, please check the internet connectivity at your end. Many times, logging out and logging back resolves the issue. At the end of the webinar, you will receive a feedback form. Kindly take a few minutes to complete the same. Your feedback will help us to enhance the quality of the webinars and the workshops we prepare for you. Once the feedback is submitted, you will receive the certificate of participation in your registered email inbox. You must have been present in the webinar for a minimum of 60 minutes to be eligible to receive the certificate. Today's webinar aims to give us an overview of Oxford Advantage Holistic Progress Card, and to facilitate the session, we have with us Shruti Karabanda, who is the Learning Design and Curriculum Expert at Oxford University Press, India. Over to you, Shruti.
Thank you for the introduction, Gangotri. Good evening, everyone. How are you all? Thank you for taking out time today to attend this webinar. We are grateful for your attendance today. And just to get a feeler of how everybody is feeling, can we quickly put in the chat box any number from 1 to 5 based on how energized you are at the moment?
They're saying, fine, ma'am, doing good.
I'm glad. It's a Friday evening. I hope we're all energized for this session.
Now people have started
Nice.
putting numbers 5, 3, 2.
Not bad. I think that's a good general score for a Friday evening, right?
Somebody's written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Nice. I'm glad.
Somebody's also written sleepy. We get
Amazing.
that.
Perfect. Thank you for all your comments in the chat box. Again, thank you for joining this session today. Today we are going to talk about holistic progress cards and how our LMS supports it, and how we can have comprehensive reports generated for all of our learners using our platform. But before we begin, I will quickly share my screen and ask you another question. I'm unable to share my screen.
Entire screen.
Entire screen. All right. I hope you all can see the screen now.
We can see.
Perfect. So, perfect. Today, we will walk you through holistic progress cards and how we can generate them effectively using the Oxford Advantage LMS. We will focus specifically on how this works and applies to the pre-primary grades. But before we get into the specifics, could you all please write one word that comes to your mind, a single word when I say the word report cards? If we travel back to our school time, what were your report cards like? What does it remind you of in one word?
So Pala ma'am is saying marks. Somebody is saying scary. Somebody saying progress, development, marks, grades, happy, progressing, overview, valuation, holistic development, marks, only marks, grades, progress, result, outstanding, excellent. These are the kind of remarks which are flowing in Shruti for you.
Very nice. I am particularly impressed by the person who wrote scary, because I completely agree with you. The numbers and the grades given on those were sometimes scary. And the kind of report cards that we had back in our time were very limited to grades, were very limited to marks, and they were not capturing a very holistic and comprehensive uh, report or progress of the learner. So we will talk about how we have come far ahead of those times, and how today, in today's times, we are using much more comprehensive reports called holistic progress cards, and how our LMS supports them. So let's get into this. The quick agenda, if we discuss for today's call, we'll have a quick introduction to what holistic progress cards are. We will a quick overview of what we will cover. We will start from understanding the basics of what HPC is, and ending with a live demonstration of how an LMS or a HPC can be generated using our LMS. I'm sure most of us already know and have already used holistic progress cards in our classrooms in one way or another. But for us, for the few of us who may not have an exposure of this, we will begin by understanding briefly what HPCs are and why they are being emphasized in today's time. They basically represent a shift from traditional report cards, traditional reporting, to a more comprehensive view of a child's progress and learning. Parak, the assessment body of CBSE, has developed holistic progress cards as a very nice initiative under NEP 2020, which presents a more comprehensive, a 360-degree review of a child's progress in a classroom. Instead of solely focusing on marks and grades, it gives a more overall developmental report of a child, and tracks academic, skill-based, and personal growth apart from giving marks and scores. It focuses on assessing essential competencies and practical skills, and replaces grades with feedback on how a child is actually progressing in a classroom. So it is basically a very, very detailed and comprehensive reporting of a child's learning in the classroom, instead of just summarizing it in a few numbers or a few grades. Now, why it is important for schools to focus on this and to implement HPC? It is important to understand why it matters for schools, because it shifts and aligns the system of a school with broader educational reforms that the government wants us to make and has been pushing schools to make now. So it ensures the school's alignment with NEP 2020. It encourages competency-based education and not just that, competency-based reporting as an extension. It supports student-centric reporting and not just marks and grades, which are sometimes difficult for parents to understand and decipher. It improves parent teacher communication because the reporting is much more detailed and there are much more points to be discussed with the teacher. And it shifts the focus from ranks to a child's comprehensive learning journey throughout the year. And some of the key components of an HPC have been listed on the screen. A child's subject understanding and marks and progress may or may not be given, but they are captured in terms of ranges, what range a child falls under. It captures multiple other dimensions of a child's development apart from academia, like cognitive skills, skill development, behavior in the classroom, their interaction with their peers, physical development, their well-being in general, their interests, overall growth areas that they can work on, their talents, and overall progress summary. And sometimes it is also complemented with a portfolio with examples of the things that they have done in the classroom, all accumulated in the holistic progress card. And at the end of all of it, a holistic progress card like this is generated using the learning management system. I hope we are all on the same page for now. If there are any questions, that is, you can put them in the chat box. But if you're still with me, please send your favorite emoji in the chat box. If you have followed so far and you are still with us, please send your favorite emoji in the chat box. Okay.
So we are receiving a lot of hearts and smileys and hugs and blessing symbol, all those kind of favorite imageries.
Nice.
So your chat box is is totally flooded, Shruti.
Perfect. That's good to know. Thank you for your responses. So getting back to the presentation, at the end of all of this process, a report is generated like it is being shown on the screen right now. How the Oxford Advantage LMS supports this, the platform enables a clear, structured and meaningful platform to be able to generate these reports, which ensures that the feedback is very comprehensive, aligns with the government mandates, and it is easy for the parents also to interpret. So all of the children, they will be assessed on the basis of the learning outcomes in a screen, and all of the learning outcomes will be assessed on 4 levels of learning. I will show all of this on the screen right now. And each learning outcome is tagged to a specific competency, which is in turn aligned with the curricular goals that have been outlined in the NCF. This basically ensures that everything that we assess and check in the classroom connects back to the wider national curricular expectations from NEP. So the rationale of the testing is the teachers will mark the children on the basis of each learning outcome as and when they are observed in the classroom, which are in turn connected to competencies, which are in turn broadly connected to the curricular goals which have been given in the NCF 2020 document. Talking about the workflow of how these HPCs can be generated using the LMS, there are 3 major steps for it, which I will go over now. First of all, each theme book that we have, at the end of it, theme-wise assessment sheets have been given at the end of each book. I will show it to you. For example, if this is a soft copy of the theme book that we have. At the end of each theme book, you would observe that there is a perforated theme-wise learning outcome sheet that the teacher is supposed to fill for each child after each assessment, after each theme has been covered and closed in the classroom. So for all of that, we have this soft copy and we also have these books, right? We can use these to mark all of these after each theme is closed in the classroom. This will help the teachers to also give timely feedback to the parents about their children at the end of each theme. Now, what is also important here, after the child has been marked on these theme assessment pages, and after these assessment pages have been given to the children to share with their parents at home, the same feedback and same observation scores should also be after that recorded onto the LMS, right? That is important because how will we keep a track of all of the themes that we have marked for each child? So in order to keep an aggregate observation and an aggregate of all the themes that have been covered in the classroom and marked for each child, we will also do that on the LMS, so that for each child we have auto generated reports at the end of the midterm and end term. After
This page and read out one or two.
Okay. I think the screen is being shared. Okay. So, for example, this is level 1, All About Me, theme 2 for Oxford Advantage Little Champs. This is for
Level 1.
This is for level 1. So, for example, for foundational literacy, the first learning outcome is listen to and repeat the sounds made by letters F to Q. And then there are 4 levels under which the child can be marked: seedling, blossoming, flourishing, and thriving. So the teacher will mark where a specific child lies for this specific learning outcome out of these 4 levels. And similarly, that will happen for all the learning outcomes which have been given under foundational literacy. A similar fashion will be used to mark all the embracing harmony learning outcomes, foundational numeracy learning outcomes. And when the theme is completed and all of this sheet has been populated by the teacher for each child, the same should also be recorded onto the LMS to keep a track of where a child lies. This sheet too will be given to the parent. So for the teacher to keep a track of what each child was marked as, the same scores and observations should also be marked on the LMS. After that, step 3 is whatever comes at the end of the year, at the end of each term on the LMS, fill the hard copy that has been provided to you at the end of, for example, your book set comes with this hard copy of the HPC. Whatever comes up at the end of each term on the LMS, use those values to physically fill this HPC using those values here. Especially the page with the curricular goals.
Yes.
This one. So it will also help you to not arbitrarily mark these term 1 and term 2 things with the curricular goals page. If we have timely marked and recorded all of the observations onto the LMS when the sheets at the theme and books are filled, when it is simultaneously also marked onto the LMS, it will be very easy for you to fill this page. It won't be arbitrarily filled. It will be filled based on what comes onto the LMS for each child, which has been backed by a well-made algorithm, because of which we will be able to fill these meaningfully. So these are the 3 major steps of how we will go about filling our HPCs. We will complete the theme-wise assessment sheets at the end of the book. Then we will update the same scores and observations onto the LMS for each child. And then at the end of each term, we will look at what the LMS says and fill the hard copies basis on what comes up for each child. Now we will see how this can be done with the help of a live demonstration. The Oxford Advantage LMS makes it very easy to implement the HPC in a structured manner because it helps to streamline the tracking, mapping, and end reporting. This is what our LMS looks like for all of us. And now we will see a live demonstration of how this can be done. Are we all with each other? Write any number from 1 to 9 in the chat box if we are still together and following whatever has been talked about so far. Any number from 1 to 9? Do we have responses?
Yes, we
Perfect.
are having a lot of responses. It's like all random numbers which are coming
Glad.
in the chat box.
Very, very
so
glad.
I'm guessing teachers are listening to you.
Perfect. So now looking at a live demonstration of how these 3 steps can be done. First, we will go on use the assessment sheets at the back of each theme book to fill that. From that, next step is filling all of these details onto the LMS for each child. So you will log into your system and your dashboard will look something like this. Then we will go to the third icon from the top, which says marks entry. Once we click that, the academic year would automatically be the latest year. And if it is not the case, just select the current academic year. Select the class that you have to populate the LMS for. For example, if we take level
Teachers, no worries. Shruti will be joining fast. So just be patient enough so that she can join and she can start the webinar. She will be taking it up. So, teachers, till now, whatever you have understood, can you please, would you like to put it on chat so that it will be a quick recap while Shruti is joining? Be happy to read the feedbacks or the pointers that you have just gone through. So, teachers, you can put one by one on the chat. Very nice. HPC. Yeah, issue. Yeah. Okay. HPCs and correction card, not bad. Yeah. Academic curriculum. About HPC, you have gone through. Have you used HPC as of now? So about academic curriculum, okay, we are trying to reconnect teachers. Hope I am audible and visible. So meanwhile, you can put your queries also on the chat. Would you like to understand through this HPC share session?
Okay, we will try from my system. Nothing to panic, teachers. We'll try from my system once again and see if that works. Okay, just allow me 1 minute. And Shruti can join. Shruti is very much with me. We are in the same room, and we can probably try sharing our screen once from here. Shruti, you might have to log in once again. I am no, not from your system, from my system. Okay. Put in your credentials. You can come here, Shruti. Guys, just a small tech issue. We're trying to figure this out. We'll share our screen. Don't worry. We've already shared. We'll just switch the tab. Yeah. Go back here once. Stop sharing. Go to this. Sorry. I'm saying Oxford Invitation Live. One because my system is not connected.
I get it. Yeah, the same is zero.
I am assuming there is some glitch in the LMS. That's the reason it's not happening, neither from Shruti's system and not from my system. What do you suggest, Preeti, in that case?
Okay, so what do you want to do? Do you want to show the LMS?
We wanted to show actually the LMS.
Okay. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen.
Would you have the credentials for?
I have them.
You can ask. Okay.
Up.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet, Preeti.
Is it?
ये तो हमारा है ना.
चलिए
Okay.
आपके पास वो है ही नहीं.
Gangotri, can you please help us that what is there on the
Wait,
screen?
Preeti, just allow us 1 second. My system, I think it will work.
Okay.
I've been able to. We're just logging in with Shruti's credentials onto my system.
Sure, sure.
1 second.
Teachers,
Shruti,
just
please
give
try
us a few more
incognito
minutes. We
It
are
may
trying to
help you.
log in. So is it the LMS is not opening or you're not able to share the screen?
Yeah, that was the thing. LMS was not opening properly.
Okay.
Let us know if, yeah,
Yes, now it is.
okay.
Yes, thank
Yes.
you.
It's slow, but we'll try our best.
No problem. Thank you, teachers. Thank you for your patience. The screen is visible now. Thank you, Shweta ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your patience. Shruti, over to you.
I'm still waiting for the LMS to
No
load.
worries.
There's
You can
clearly
just
a technical issue here.
revisit the points which you've already spoken to the teachers. You can just revisit meanwhile this opens.
Okay, just a moment.
Yep.
Shruti, the screen is visible now to us of LMS.
Okay. Uh, are we audible now?
Yeah, Shruti, you are very much audible.
Okay, perfect. We have been able to log on to the system finally. As I was saying, after we have filled the assessment sheet given at the back of each theme book, we will also record those observations on the LMS. It is the third tab from the top. It's called Marks Entry tab. So when we go there, we will select the current academic year and the class that we are trying to assess and select the section that we are trying to record our observations for. Is the screen visible now?
Yeah, Shruti, the screen is
Perfect.
visible.
I hope it's also loading side by side.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, perfect. So for term one, there would be, for example, three themes under term one that have to be tested. And similarly, if you select term two, there would be another three themes to be tested under term two. If we talk about term one first, you can select the theme that you have just completed in the classroom and filled the assessment sheets for. And now we will try to record the observations for those learning outcomes onto the LMS. So the evaluation type is learning outcomes. And then under that, we have four subjects listed, which we also have in our classrooms: foundational literacy, foundational numeracy, general awareness, and art and craft. So if we start to record our observations for foundational literacy first, we will see under that we have 18 learning outcomes which have been tagged under foundational literacy under the domain of language and literacy development. And we have 6 learning outcomes under foundational literacy which have been tagged under the domain physical development. We are going to evaluate each child on the basis of the learning outcome. For me, only one sample child has been tagged. The learning outcome that we are going to record our observations for right now is associate letters with things and objects. And if you go to the information button, you will see exactly which curricular goal and competency along with the codes it has been tagged to. You
Deepa, can you switch on the mic, please? Just Shruti, can you switch on the mic on Deepa's system? Better.
I don't know how it keeps getting
Yeah,
shut off,
it's
but
okay.
to
It's okay.
continue,
Just
for
one
example,
thing, Shruti, there is a request on the chat that the screen is very small and teachers are not able to see whatever you are doing. So if you can just slowly read whatever
okay,
steps you are following, that's it.
okay, we can do
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
Should we continue from here to mark how we have to mark each learning outcome?
Yes, yes, anywhere.
Okay. So the learning outcome has been given on top of the page, and if you go to the information button, it will tell you exactly which curricular goal and competency it has been tagged to along with their codes. There is also an option to record on which date that activity was conducted in the classroom to have a record of things and how a particular child, for example, we only have one sample child tagged to this activity for this right now. How did Kiran do on an activity called associate letters with objects or things? Whenever that was conducted in the classroom, the teacher is expected to observe all of the students and mark the child at the end of the day for this activity on a specific date on 4 levels as per their observation. So they can start with seedling if it was better blossoming, flourishing, thriving, and so on. If the child has not attended a class on that specific day, you can also select not observed. I'm going to, for example, right now mark flourishing for this activity on this date. You also have an option to record any additional remarks if you have for a specific child, but it's not compulsory to fill that. If you happen to have a remark, please feel free to record it in this section. After Kiran's observation for a specific learning outcome has been observed, it will be saved. And like that, we have multiple learning outcomes and learning outcomes that have to be marked for each child depending on which date that was conducted on. For example, the next one is associate the letter with its sound and with the objects around them. Again, it is marked under which curricular goal and competency this learning outcome comes. We have the option to select a date on which it was conducted or not. And then again, we can select a learning indication level of how they performed in that specific learning outcome in the classroom. Save. In this fashion, we are expected to mark all the learning outcomes that are tagged under each theme, under each subject. For example, under foundational literacy, under the theme of shapes and colors, there are 18 language and literacy development learning outcomes that have to be marked for each child and 6 for physical development. In a similar way, we will have learning outcomes, specific learning outcomes marked under foundational literacy, which are 9 in this case, learning outcomes under general awareness, and so on. And after all of these have been recorded, we can go to the section of anecdotal observations. So all of these have to be recorded for each child, for each subject, for each theme at the end of each theme. And once we have done that, we can enter the number of teaching days that were there in term 1. For example, if it was 120, we will record that. And then we will go put in some qualitative feedback for each child. That can include how many number of days did they attend out of the 120 total number of days. For example, Kiran attended school for 112 days out of the total 120 that were there. And if attendance is low, you may record a reason for it, that sick days or sick leave was taken. Then we will have what interest areas are there for Kiran, and the teacher can have a select system here. If Kiran likes to do yoga, if she has shown interest in solving puzzles, all the things that Kiran shows interest in the classroom will be selected. And if there's something else which is not given in this list, since it's not comprehensive, it can be written. For example, Kiran may like gardening. That can be mentioned here. Learner's profile, we can also select what kind of strengths have been exhibited by Kiran in the classroom. If she has sharp memory, if she is independent, if she is an active participant in the classroom, all of those traits will be selected. Her growth areas can be selected as well, that she needs to work a little bit more on her listening and communication skills. She may need to work on how fast she adapts to changes, and so on. And in a similar way, her general behavior in the classroom can also be recorded, that she follows rules and instructions well, she's kind to her peers, and she takes initiative. Then we can select what color they like. They may like green, they may like purple, or something else if they want to record a color which has not been given here. This is a section that has to be filled by the teacher in collaboration with the child themselves. So the teacher can ask the child how much they have enjoyed in this term, how much did they enjoy the activities that were conducted in this term. So they may select anywhere from 1 to 5 stars here. If they could do most of the activities in this term by themselves, or if they needed help with most of the activities, in that way they could either select they could do most of the things on their own, or if they needed the teacher's help with it. All of these are reflections. These are reflections of the child themselves, which the teacher will have to populate in collaboration and in conversation with the child themselves. And then what do Kiran's peers have to say about her behavior? Is she somebody that likes to share her things with her friends? It can be a yes or no. If she is somebody who helps her friends every time they need, it can be a yes or a no again. And if they enjoy their activities together in a collaborative environment. So the first section of my reflections will be filled by the teacher in collaboration with the child themselves, and a general perception of the student as per their peers. This takes care of the self reflection and peer reflection of the child. And then there is a section that parents can fill on the hard copy themselves. So when the parents get a hard copy of of the HPC, there is a section which has the space for the parents to write their reflections about their child's learning. Their child particularly enjoys participating in what activities. So there's a space for the parents to fill it on their own. My child can be supported in XYZ activities. There's space for the parent to write that as well. And I would like to share any common perception or some common observation that they have about their child. So when the hard copy is shared with the parents, this section will be empty. And when the parents send back the signed HPC, or after they are done consulting the HPC, they will fill this section, and this will take care of the parental feedback section of the HPC. Coming to the learning indicators, when it comes to physical development, Kiran can run, jump, climb, and balance on their own or with some help. They can do activities like drawing, cutting, manipulating small objects, either on their own or with some help. And similarly, all of these pre-written sentences will be filled by the teacher on whether the child could do these specific activities on their own or with some help, and they will mark multiple of these observations under major domains like physical development, socio-emotional development, cognitive development, language and literacy, aesthetic and cultural development, and positive learning activities. After all of these have been selected, when the child has their physical HPC with them, the teacher can fill physical development observations from the LMS based on what they have selected and what comes up in the report that is generated in a soft copy. And all of these can be used to fill the empty sections here in the teacher's remark column for term 1. In a similar way, they could also do the same thing for term 2. So all of these 6 domains that have been mentioned on the page, when the teacher fills them, whatever comes up in the soft copy, they can use that information to directly populate these 6 sections on the teacher's feedback page. After all of this has been done, the teacher will save whatever she has recorded onto the system. Now she has saved all the learning outcomes and how the child performed with them, as well as the anecdotal qualitative feedback on how each child performed. And now that we have filled the term 1 report for all the themes, for example, it will take some time to fill all of the themes, but you are expected to do that as and when those activities are conducted in the classroom at the end of each day. Once we have filled all the learning outcomes for a specific theme for all the themes in a term, then we can go on to the generate report section. The report is on my laptop. So you will go on to the holistic progress card under the reporting setup. You will select the current year. You will select the class and section, and we had just recorded our observations for the child Kiran. And now that we have recorded enough data for term 1, you will see you have an option to either view the report here and an option to print the report here. So you have the option to print, but most of you all also know that since a lot of you prefer to have hard copies, you can have this hard copy with you, which is given with every set of books, and you can fill the hard copy by yourself basis on what comes up on the report that you generate here. And that essentially closes the loop of generating the HPC for term 1 for a specific child in a specific grade. A similar procedure will be followed for term 2 as well. And at the end of term 2, you will be able to fill the term 2 as well. And at the end of the year, the HPC will be fully populated with the child's progress throughout the year. And then that can be handed over to the child's parent. So going over what has to be done one more time, the first step is to fill the assessment page given at the end of each theme book. This perforated page will be populated by the teacher for each child at the end of each theme. So this is the first step. The second step is to record all of these observations on the LMS as well, so that at the end of each term, the curricular goals, the page with the curricular goal, you have what to mark for each curricular goal. If each child is marked properly for each learning outcome that has been observed in the class and it is recorded in a timely way, you will not have to fill this arbitrarily. You will have exactly what to fill for each child from the soft copy that is generated by the system after all of the learning outcomes have been observed and recorded. On the basis of that, you will be able to fill this. And the third step is filling the entire HPC in a hard copy manner and giving it to the parents to track their child's progress. And this is how the HPC works for the Oxford Advantage LMS. That is all. If you have any questions, I am open to taking them now in the chat box. But this is it. This is it from my end. And now we can take whatever questions there are. Is it for class teacher or subject-wise teacher to fill? The class teacher is responsible to record the...
Usually it's some other teachers.
Right. So in pre-primary, it's usually one teacher that takes care of all the subjects for children. So in pre-primary, the class teacher will record all of these for all the subjects.
In case you have different subject teachers, then
Right. If in case there are different subject teachers in your school, even for pre-primary, she could pass on that data to the class teacher or the mother teacher. But the provision to record these observations will be the responsibility of the class teacher. We have to do offline and online too. Um,
Okay, I'll
yes.
explain this, why online. Okay. One thing that I would like to again explain to all of you. What you see in the end of the book are the learning outcomes. And there are at least, 50 learning outcomes uh, in each theme. Okay. And but when you fill up the report card, you don't, it doesn't have all the learning outcomes of all the themes. It only captures the curricular goals. Okay, there can be hundreds of learning outcomes. There are 67 competencies and there are 13 curricular goals. That is why Shruti mentioned in middle of her, presentation, that learning outcomes are mapped with competencies are mapped with curricular goals which are given by NCF. Parak also says that ultimately the report about all the curricular goals need to go to the parents. Therefore, how do we shrink this information of, let's say, 100 learning outcomes into 13 curricular goals? That is the reason that we are asking you that whatever you fill in here on this hard copy, please put up the stages of the development of the students on the LMS, because on LMS you have an algorithm. Okay, there is some, objective algorithm behind this. Let's say if there are 5 learning outcomes tagged with one competency and tagged with one curricular goal, how do we do this, calculation manually? That is not possible to do manually. In that case, it is important to take support of technology. Though we understand that all the parents expect us to give a report card in the form of hard copy, therefore we have given it to you a hard copy. In case you are in a place where parents are satisfied with the soft copy of the report as well, then you have already the provision of filling it up in the on the LMS and share the soft copy itself with the parents. But I understand that parents need a hard copy. Therefore, you just put up the the stages of development of each child on the LMS after each theme gets over, so that you get auto populated stage of development at the end of each term. To get the summarized stage of development for these 13 curricular goals, it is important, very, very pertinent, that we take the support of technology. I hope I was very clear. That is why you will have to do it on LMS as well as on the hard copy. LMS is a must to fill. Okay, this is optional, but we know that parents will ask for hard copy. That's the reason that you will have to do it in the soft copy as well as on the hard copy. But once you get a hang of it, it is easier to do, nothing much to do. If you don't let it pile up, then it will be easy. Okay, for example, at the you teach a theme for 5 weeks. Okay, after 5 weeks, take the whole week and every day do entry for, let's say, 5 students. If you have 30 students in your classroom, complete the entries over a period of 6 days, 7 days. That's fine. That's all you have to do at the end of each theme. If you meticulously do this at the end of every theme, then your mid-year assessment is all ready, and you just have to see that output from the LMS and just jot it down in this HPC hard copy. Right? I hope we were clear. Yeah, over to you, Shruti.
Uh,
Any other question?
Term 1 and term 2 we have to observe separately. Yes.
Obviously you will have to share. I mean, term 1 is at the end of half yearly. Okay, so for example, if your session has started in April and in the month of September, it's a term 1 end, so you will just fill the first half of it. Okay, for example, if you see on each page of HPC, Term 1 attendance you have to fill separately, and then term 2 next time. Term 1, their interest areas separately, and term 2 it may add to more or it may decline also, so it should reflect. Okay, so every component that we have given to fill up on the HPC has the term 1 and term 2, so that you can show progress. Sometimes what happens is that in term 1 child may be interested in just 4 things. The growth areas is more, but could be strengths are less. But as the child progresses and moves towards the end of the year, you will see in term 2 you will mention more of strengths and less of growth areas. That is why you have to publish it twice, at the end of half yearly and then at the end of your full academic year.
There's a
Deepa, there
question
is
that
one
says
more
how
question.
to. Sorry, yeah.
Share the soft copy of the HPCs to the parents.
Right. There's a page at the end of it when you are done with entering all of the marks. The next tab is report generation. There's an option to view the report before you print it, and then there's another option to print the report. It can be done for term 1 and term 2 separately. If you do not wish to fill the hard copy, there is an option to generate a soft copy and directly share it with the parents.
You can also take out the printout from the LMS directly.
What will be the assessment pattern? For pre-primary grades, it is classroom observations and no assessment scores that are being conducted,
Yeah,
and
no formal written exam.
no formal exams, and hence no formal scores. It will just be classroom observations basis on the different learning outcomes that have been mentioned at the end of the quiz. And that is what also Parak says, that instead of giving numbers, have them be observed in the classroom for different learning outcomes and record those instead.
Teachers, in case your school, in case you do have written assessments, that's up to you. We totally leave it up to you. We have given a space here in the end. This is the last page wherein we have mentioned the subjects: term 1 subjects, term 2 subjects. I would recommend you write the stage here. The child is at seedling stage or blossoming or thriving stage. Instead of marks, you can have, let's say, if the child is as per you, if the child has got more than 95% marks, you can write thriving, and so on and so forth. But we discourage mentioning scores for these very little children. They are, after all, just 3 years and 4 year and 5 year old children. So, but we have given a space. It's up to you. How do you want to utilize this space? You may mention the stages of development for each subject in term 1 here and term 2 here. Okay, we have given a space for it. And we don't give obviously the question paper. In case your school conducts it, this is the page where you can record it.
What about Hindi? While there are no
Yeah.
curricular goals for Hindi, you
So
still
we have mentioned
space.
here second language. In case you want to mention, let's say, Hindi score or Hindi stage as well, under second language, you can do that. We have given a provision for that. Okay.
Do we need to record the details online or in the record book? Online
Would be better. Online would be better. And obviously, this teachers, please understand, this needs to be filled only twice a year, 2 times. But on LMS, at the end of every theme. If you are a mother teacher of beginner, then you will fill up 4 times. If you are a mother teacher of level 1 or level 2, then at the end of each theme, which is 6 times in a year. So technically, after every 6 weeks, you go and record the observations of students and track each and every learning outcome on the LMS. As I said, take the target of filling it up for 5 to 6 students every day, and do it over the period of 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, whatever works for you.
Some of you have been asking about the anecdotal feedback. It is to be filled once at the end of each term, so twice in a year, once per term. And whatever information that you record for the anecdotal feedback on the LMS will essentially populate the first page, which is personal information about the child. It will also help you populate my profile, which talks about what are the child's strengths, growth areas, general behaviors, the child's feedback. So, anecdotal observation will help you fill all of these pages. The one that talks about their personal information, that talks about their specific traits, the one that talks about their parental feedback, peer feedback, and teachers' remarks as per different domains, which are physical development, language and literacy development, etc. So, it is important to fill that to be able to fill this in a soft copy.
So, what is anecdotal feedback? Basically, anything that doesn't require any algorithm, that's an anecdotal, that's a child's personal feedback. You know, the child name, parents' name, date of birth, interest areas, strength, growth areas, etc. These are all recorded under anecdotal feedback on the LMS. Once you record it, it will publish. Okay. But what is that? That requires algorithm, which is calculation. That is the basically summing up the learning outcomes scores from the back end when you assess each and every learning outcome for the child, because they are in turn, as I said, hundreds of learning outcomes are mapped with 67 competencies, and those 67 competencies are mapped with 13 curricular goals. That's how it is. Can an activity be done and observations made and recorded during as theme is being covered, or should be done? As per you, ma'am. I mean, you could also do it as it is going if you want to keep your life, easy. If I mean, that is another approach. That today I did these activities, so I want to record particular activities for all the students on LMS. That is also another approach. You could do that as well. Most welcome to do that.
I think we've taken care of most of the questions.
Right. Oh, very good questions, by the way, all of you asked. That is telling us that how interested you are, and I'm hoping that you will all, all of you will use this when you will provide the new access code to the teachers. This is which access code, ma'am? I didn't get that. Mehik, ma'am, what access code you're talking about? Are you asking about the LMS credentials? Can you please reach out to your excellence team member, the one who comes to your school for training? Yeah. So people, those who come to your schools for training, please reach out to them. They will support you this kind of a logistical support. Access code is not provided. Ebook, Oxford Advantage. It's okay. I think the team is still in the process of getting login IDs generated for teachers and students. So it will soon happen. In case if it has not happened for your school, please reach out to your excellence team member, the one who comes to your school for the training purposes. They will help you out with this. Okay, got it, Mehak ma'am. Very good. Should I record it by completing each family verse? You could do that. Totally up to you, Sonali ma'am. I mean, it's up to you. If you want to do it like this, that okay, I have covered these many topics, I should record it for all the students. That way also. Or if you want to do it, let me complete the theme. At the end of the theme, I will fill up all the learning outcomes for all children by taking 5-6 days. That's also okay. Up to you. Great. It was a great session, very interactive, lot of questions you asked. Shruti, thank you so much for walking teachers through this wonderful session. I hope they like it. In case you like this session, type the name of your favorite actor in the chat box, and that's your last exit ticket. Okay, go on.
Thank you, all of you, for joining our session. We apologize for the technical glitch that took up some time in the middle, but thank you for understanding and still being connected with us and showing us patience despite all of that.
SRK is the favorite. Okay, let me see others. Yes, I will wait. I want to see who are your favorite actors in case you like this. Oh, so many.
So many. Too many to read.
Too many. It's just going, flying by. Salman Khan. Okay, Kajol. All right. I like that. Some of you resonate with my choices too. Great. Thank you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for attending today's call. Thank you for being patient with us, and I hope you have a great evening. Over to Shatabdi. Thank you.
Thank you, teachers, for your for being here and making the webinar so wonderfully attended. So the feedback form will be reaching to your email addresses. So I request all of you to please fill the feedback form. Our today's session webinar session presenter was Shruti. Miss Shruti, you can give the feedback related to the HPC. Thank you so much, teachers. And after filling the feedback,